Receiving content. Receiving a moment. All right, come on. I gotta hit this. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. All right, we're here. How's everybody doing tonight? E3 is officially over. Hold on. Yeah, E3 is officially over. We finally got a chance to let the smoke and the dust and all of that settle. And now across the globe, gamers are coming in unisex to say that basically Nintendo has won E3. I even, this is 2 years in a row for Sony. I'm sorry. Ooh, Jesus Christ. This is 2 years in a row for Nintendo is one E3. And I'm already putting in the books right now that Nintendo's going to win next year's E3 because think about it. We have Fire Emblem that's coming to the Switch. It's already been announced. We have the Metroid Prime 4. That was already announced. And we have Pokemon. So next year's E3, we're going to be getting a smorgasbord of gameplay, footage of these said games. Those 3 games alone are basically, just one of those games alone on the Wii U could have boosted Wii U sales by 20 million, But 3 of those games on one console alone, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing is, this goes all the way back to when I was making these claims, and everybody took it as trolling. Zobi, you're so funny, Zobi, you're so goofy, you're so silly. Everybody thought it was. Even Nintendo fanboys were coming out and saying, Nintendo's not that perfect. And I was like, you guys really don't know the aspects of business. And not only that, people just did not know what the Wii U was. Simple as that. At the end of the day, it never came down to graphical power. It never came down to having the backing of EA and Ubisoft. It never came down to those things. It came down to what I said a long time ago, is that the average consumer did not know that the Wii U was a separate console. Now that the marketing and those people running at Nintendo right now, they went out there and let the consumer know, let families know, let the gamers know that the Nintendo Switch is something separate. This is a console slash handheld hybrid. And now people are running out in bulk to going ahead and buying the Switch. And the Switch is already selling better than the Wii. Forget the Wii U. It's already on its way to outselling the Wii. One of the highest selling consoles of all time. This is what I was trying to tell people, but for some reason these other mediocre dude bro channels knew more than Zobi70. I was on mediocre podcasts telling these people, and these people really thought I was speaking some type of ancient alien language. These armchair analysts really thought that what they were saying was 100% factual. These guys were well into their 40s, and I'm surprised they didn't know that Nintendo was going to come out here and start decimating their opponents. With Sony's E3 showing, and before E3, Sony was coming into E3 with a little bit of arrogance. And I remember this arrogance going all the way back to the PlayStation 3. In the PlayStation 3, in comparison to the PlayStation 1, comparing to all consoles that ever existed, including the Xbox 360, is the worst console I've ever played in my entire flipping life. It's a fact. I've never been more disappointed in my entire life than the first day I've ever purchased my PlayStation 3. I remember I ran out there. I remember the day I ran out there to trade in my Xbox 360. My 360 had a cross game chat, it had party chat, it had all types of wild swanky stuff going on. It was fun. We were popping in and out of parties, popping in and out of games, shooting in the Gears of War, playing some Left 4 Dead, playing a little bit of Naruto and things of that such. And, I did a stupid mistake and ran down to my local GameStop and purchased a PlayStation 3 because I was a PlayStation guy. And ever since I had that mother flipper, I have just been extremely disappointed. No cross game chat, no party chat, it just wasn't fun. I wasn't popping in and out. The exclusives were just terrible at best. But anyway, before the E3 conference came out, I noticed a little bit of Sony arrogance like I seen back with the PlayStation 3. And for some reason, I don't understand why Sony continues to spit in the face of their fans. I mean, they just continuously do it over and over and over. As soon as they get a little bit, it happened before. They had a little bit of the success with the PlayStation 2, then they got extremely arrogant with the PlayStation 3, saying that we're going to charge you $600 for this console. We're going to, you're going to have to work 2 to 3 jobs just to buy this thing. If you can't buy it, then oh well, maybe you can go buy a Wii or something, buy a children's console in the Wii. There was, they always come out and say such arrogant and disgusting and vile things. Meanwhile, I'm going out and I'm purchasing your console and I'm purchasing the games. I'm paying for online. I'm working 2 to 3 jobs to afford your consoles and your games. And meanwhile, Sony continues to just spit in everybody's goddamn face. This is just the same disgusting patterns coming out of goddamn Sony. And the thing is, it's not a lot of Sony fanboys. I don't want to put all the bulk on Sony fanboys because it's not a lot of them. Because when you see the numbers, exclusive sales aren't selling. If you look at the numbers, if you really want to do comparisons of who's really buying the PlayStation 4 in comparison to Sony fanboys, it's actually more of the casuals buying the PlayStation 4 more than actual die-hard PlayStation fans. If you look at the numbers of E3 from Nintendo's views to Sony's, Nintendo's is blowing the Sony views out of the goddamn water. Hold on, people. Make sure the chat's good. Yeah, we're going to get into the games, guys. We're going to get into the games, but I just have to show something. And before the E3 started, people are asking about backwards compatibility, and the Sony execs, the Sony bigwigs, the Sony suits are coming out and telling us, it's one of those features that it's much requested, but not actually used much. It's like, well, what are you talking about? I know thousands upon thousands of gamers that are going back and playing, wishing that they can go back and play old PS2 titles. The highest selling downloadable games on the PlayStation 4 currently are the PlayStation 2, the PS4 RPGs from Rogue Galaxy to Dark Cloud 1 and 2. The highest selling on the PlayStation 3 sales are Persona 4, Persona 3, Final Fantasy 7, 8 and 9. Square Enix remaking a lot of their PlayStation 2 exclusives from Final Fantasy X to Final Fantasy 12 coming out in a couple of days. The same Sony execs, they're coming out and saying childish and immature things, just like these 40-year-olds who are leading the PlayStation console war today, saying things like, hold on. He said something so stupid. Basically saying who wants to play those things, they look ancient. Even though Yoshida came out and said, it's backwards compatibility is hard. Yoshida explains at the time, I won't say we'll never do it, but it's not easy. Hold on. Hello? Oh, that's cool. Okay. Right now? Okay. All right. 6'9"? Okay. All right. Gotcha. Peace. Sorry, it's the job. Yeah, where was I? uh, yeah. Oh, no, yeah. This is one Caucasian guy that works at Sony. He's just a complete jackass, and this is just typical Sony bullcrap, man. Typical Sony flipping bullcrap, spitting in the face of their gamers. In watching this E3 alone, I saw basically just Sony come out and spit in the face of the gamers once again. This E3, all these Xbox fanboys who jump ship to Sony because Sony has so many games, so many exclusives. Yeah, I'm off of the Xbox. The Xbox is trash, man. There's no exclusives. I'm jumping ship. I'm going to the PlayStation where the games are. Meanwhile, Sony is showing us games that they showed us 2 or 3 flipping years ago. And the games that they showed us was mediocre trash. The new God of War looks like complete ass. The combat system looked so goddamn archaic. It looks so old. It looks retarded. The previous installments of the last God of War games were more intense, more violent, more vicious. We were ripping off heads and taking the head and drinking the blood of the head, and then the blood would transform us into another creature. I mean, the things we could do was so vicious and violent. Not my type of games. Not my type of games, but in comparison to the other hack and slash games, I would prefer to play the God of War games over the aspects of saying a Devil May Cry or maybe a Bayonetta and things of those such. This is my personal opinion. You know, I'm speaking of subjectively right now. And you know, on this channel alone and on previous channels, you guys have seen me barking with anger and rage whenever they would drastically change my franchises, going from all the way from Street Fighter to Marvel vs. Capcom to Final Fantasy. I mean, these are games that I grew up with and I just loved and adored. I mean, you know, hours upon hours I would put into these games. And now the newest installments where they just drastically change everything for a more casual route, for a more quote unquote homosexual route. I'm not saying you guys are homosexual. I'm just saying this feels homosexual with Final Fantasy 15. You guys see me on this channel barking, and yet when they drastically change your God of War, nobody's saying anything. I mean, it's going to show through the numbers of sales. 1 million and 2 million in comparison to Nintendo. We'll get there. We don't need to put Nintendo. We don't need to add more flame to the fire when we see the Nintendo sales compared to Sony sales. But we'll watch when the numbers come out. I mean, they're going to be so goddamn pathetic. Even Spider-Man was underwhelming. This is the game of all games that the Sony fanboys were trying to really, you know, bank on, saying that Spider-Man was going to be the premier game. And that was even underwhelming. The combat didn't look fun. I felt like I didn't have any goddamn control over Spider-Man. The reason that people were trying to make comparisons to this game and to comparisons of the PS2, Xbox game that came out back in the early 2000s with Spider-Man 2. In that game alone, you had control over Spider-Man. You were Spider-Man swinging and all types of things. In this game, the parts where it was really action-based, the parts that looked fun, I didn't have any goddamn control over. It was some type of quick time event. I was bashing on the left and right triggers. It was complete insanity. It was basically the game was playing the game for me. It was basically, I was just basically watching Spider-Man do his thing. What kind of bullcrap is that? Spider-Man came in flipping went. As soon as the Nintendo conference came out, we forgot instantly of Spider-Man. I mean, what a horrible goddamn conference that we just flipping had in the aspects of Sony. Sony came out and put on the worst show that I've ever seen in my goddamn life. And they didn't even show any new games. There are no new games coming down the pipeline. All the games that are shown at Sony currently, exclusively, we've already seen years ago. Some of the games have already been released in Japan years ago, from Yakuza Kiwami to Yakuza 6. And Sega's coming out now and saying that they want to put the Yakuza games and the Persona games on the PC. So there's basically no goddamn reason to own a PlayStation 4 now. Ladies and gentlemen, the death of Sony is upon us, and the E3 of Sony's showing let us know that it's over. It's over. I don't care what the Sony fanboys need to say. I don't care what Nintendo has to say. I don't care what Phil Spencer has to say. I don't even care what Sony has to say. They're coming out here and making these big giant lies, talking about they're not in competition with one another. Some of you are taking it, yeah, man, let's end the fanboy wars, man. There's no competition here, guys. Come on. We're all here to enjoy games because we're gamers at the end of the day. But that is a big load of flipping crap. With Nintendo's E3 alone, let me know that Nintendo was coming for blood. Nintendo were competitors. At the end of the day, you might think that these colorful games are for children and they have a very, friendly family vibe. That is complete and utter bull crap. Nintendo has the same that same Disney blood running through them. You know what I mean? Disney has that same vibe of, oh, we're just happy, Mickey Mouse, come play with Mickey Mouse, come play with our Disney characters. Everything's just fun and happy and dandy. Meanwhile, they're running around and consuming franchises, they're consuming movies, they're buying up Marvel, or buying up ESPN, they're controlling the monopoly board. This is a full-fledged flipping business. Don't ever get the game twisted. Phil Spencer might be actually telling the truth because he's losing. Of course, losers are going to come out and say, you know what, I'm really just here to just, enjoy the ride. Sony fanboys are saying that now after they lost E3 and now they've lost the console war. The console war is over. Nintendo has won. Don't get the mother flipping game twisted. They've won. Yesterday's showing let gamers know that the go-to place for manual games is on a Nintendo console. Sony coming out. The gamers ask for things. Sony comes out and says you're stupid for wanting that. Who wants those old, nasty, stupid games? Okay, Sony, what are you going to offer? So what do you got? Okay, those games are old, stupid, and nasty. Okay, so what do you got in the future? Well, we have 5 to 6 to 7 games that run just like The Last of Us. And you go, what the? Really? This is what we have? This is our offering in the future? Is every single goddamn game that we're going to be getting is going to be a goddamn Last of Us and Uncharted clone? The new Uncharted ripoff, whatever the new game is with the girl, with the Tomb Raider ripoff, that looks flipping underwhelming. The one with the zombie games looks underwhelming. There's witty one-liners and a vicious zombie apocalypse. This is insane. The Spider-Man looked underwhelming. That following day, Nintendo came out and dropped each and every single one of them games were drastically different from one another. Even the games that they didn't even show gameplay to are going to be drastically different in comparison to a Fire Emblem, Pokemon, Metroid. Just drastically different games where you're going to be coming and just sitting down and enjoying your goddamn time. Meanwhile, with PlayStation, I can't enjoy my time. And if I don't enjoy my time, I have to be bullied into enjoying my time. What's wrong with you? What do you mean you don't like these games? Oh, you're just some old, stupid Sony fanboy. The PlayStation 1 fanboys are the worst fanboys of all the fanboys. The best of the PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4. You're an idiot. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing on where Sony is going. No exclusives, no games, same shit that we've been seeing. All the games that are worth something are multi-plats. They'll be either on the Xbox, they'll either be on the Switch, or they'll either be on the PC. Sony is a joke and it's over. It's over. I don't care how many guys out here with 1,000 subscribers max could come out to my channel and my Twitter, you know what I'm saying, and tell me how wrong I am. If we haven't learned from history, Zobi70, for all the years he's been on YouTube, never been wrong. I was the only one, and I'm not trying to attack the Nintendo fanboys. Maybe I am in a little bit. Maybe I am a little bit. I was the only one that came out and said Nintendo is fine. Let Nintendo do what Nintendo does. I respect Nintendo fanboys for having a voice, and thus they have a new Metroid coming. Excuse me, I'm sorry. They have 2 Metroids coming. They had a Pokemon event. They showed off Pokemon Ultra and Pokemon the fighting game. People were wondering where the Switch version was. Nintendo came out and said, we're working on a Switch version. They had a Fire Emblem conference not too long ago. They showed off the new Fire Emblem games, one for the DS. They came out and said, you know what? We have a new Fire Emblem coming to the Switch. If that was Sony, if I was saying, hey man, how come we can't get a new rapper? How come you couldn't get Rapping Rabbits? How come you couldn't give us a real fountain? You know what I'm saying? Why? How come we can't get a siphon filter anymore? How come we can't get, why do you keep dropping all of your fucking franchises all the goddamn time? Why can't you stay stagnant and comfortable with the Sony brand? I can't even recognize this goddamn brand anymore. And then Sony tells me to go fuck myself. And then here comes their rabid fanboys. Yeah, why don't you go fuck yourself, man? Why can't you enjoy this shit like everybody else? Because this is the reason why I bought a PlayStation 4. I'm not going to go to a restaurant and then order some type of meal. What am I ordering? The steaks and the potatoes and the salads and the cauliflower. You know what I'm saying? And then they come and throw a shit on my fucking table. And I say, whoa, I didn't order shit. And the first one goes, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Why do you want to eat steak and potatoes and this bullshit anymore? That's old and played out. That's nasty. That's disgusting. Eat this shit. It's the new wave. Complete insanity. And I'm glad Sony lost. And I'm glad it's over for Sony. It's a wrap. These Sony fanboys are going to be banking on this 60 million for a very short time. But trust me, know and behold, that Nintendo is going to be creeping up very fast. A lot faster than you think. Jesus Christ. That was such a horrible show. Sony's conference was horrible. Now, I liked Monster Hunter, but that's not an exclusive. That's going to be on everything. It's excluding the Switch, but the Switch version is going to be getting even just as good of a Monster Hunter with Monster Hunter XX. We can take that bad boy on the go and we can play it on the goddamn, we can click it on the screen. At least I can take this Monster Hunter on the go. I can't take the PlayStation one on the go. I can't take the Xbox one on the go. I can't take the PC one on the go. I have to sit down and I have to stay stagnant. Meanwhile, I'm on the Switch version, bow, I'm playing at the crib. Boom, we're getting it in. All of a sudden, I might have to go to work. All right, I'm going to work. Boom. All right, boom. I'm still on my goddamn console. Still getting it in. Oh, God. I mean, just horrible. 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 Anybody that's really banking on Sony in 2017 and beyond is an idiot. They're insane. I would just ignore them. Yeah, Sony's the greatest. It's a wrap. It's over. It's flipping over. How did you go from number one and just drop the ball like that? How? You choked. You started the marathon. You were running in first place. You were taking off. There was nobody in your sights. You were running, and then all of a sudden you started showboating. Then you started getting arrogant. Then you wasn't paying attention to the field. Now all of a sudden Nintendo and Microsoft is creeping right behind you. Now the momentum is slowing down. You've lost focus. You lost momentum. And it's over. It's fucking over.